People talked about him in coded chats. His photo appeared on Crime Watch posters in places he hadn't visited in years. His name? Alex Mail. Just 32 years old, covered in tattoos, built like a fighter, and one of the most hunted men in the UK. He wasn't a street seller. He didn't stand on corners. He supplied the people who supplied the streets. By summer 2020, Alex had already helped traffic over 130 kilograms of pure cocaine across southern England, towns like Weston-super-Mare, Bristol, Trowbridge, Portsmouth, and even parts of the Midlands. He was the man behind it all. When the police caught him in 2020, they thought it was over. He was arrested, then granted bail. But before they could strike again, he vanished. For the next 4 years, Alex Mail lived like a ghost. He used fake names, crossed borders, and taunted police from abroad. He posted pictures from beaches, partied in Marbella, raced around in sports cars, and even dropped anonymous jokes on his own Most Wanted page. But while he showed off, the walls were closing in. Encrypted messages. Not so safe anymore. Old contacts got busted. And slowly, the pressure closed in. What happened next was one of the biggest manhunts in recent UK crime history. Police chased him across countries, arrested his allies, and finally cornered him, not in a mansion, but in a dirty, cockroach-filled prison cell far from home. This is the real story of how Britain's most elusive drug boss stayed on the run for years, and how his empire eventually fell apart. Before he became a fugitive, Alex lived quietly in Weston-super-Mare, a small beachside town better known for arcades and ice cream than drug dealing. He didn't dress flashy or draw attention. But behind closed doors, he was running one of the largest drug networks in the southwest. He moved serious weight, over 130 kilos of cocaine, and massive amounts of ketamine. His products were sold from Dorset to Wiltshire, from Bristol to Bridgewater. And he didn't sell on the street, he supplied the ones who did. Alex kept a distance from the drugs. He used secret phones, fake names, and layers of security. But even that couldn't keep him off the radar forever. Eventually, his name came up in Operation Venetic, the UK's huge investigation after cracking EncroChat, a so-called secure messaging app used by criminals. For a long time, people believed Alex Mail was untraceable. He used secret usernames, Original Dagger, and Ragnar.com. In the drug world, they called him the Viking, a name that carried fear and respect. He sat at the top of the chain. His deals weren't for grams, they were for kilos. His profits? Sometimes hundreds of thousands in a single day. Everything he did was about control, speed, and power. But like many who rise too fast, he started thinking no one could touch him. That mindset led to his biggest mistake. For years, encrypted phones gave drug dealers a sense of safety. EncroChat was the most trusted system. These phones cost thousands of pounds and promised total privacy, no call records, no traceable numbers, no messages saved. For criminals like Alex, it was the heart of the business. Then, everything collapsed, quietly. What the users didn't know was that European investigators, led by French and Dutch forces, had secretly hacked EncroChat. They didn't just break it, they copied it. For weeks, police watched live conversations. Orders, deals, prices, every message was exposed. The Southwest Regional Organized Crime Unit got access to the data, and what they found was shocking. It wasn't just a few texts. It was a massive operation with layers, structure, and planning. At the center of it all, the handles Original Dagger and Ragnar.com, both used by Alex Mail. He wasn't hiding anymore. He had even sent pictures of cocaine blocks with handwritten prices. He wasn't just selling drugs. He was running two criminal networks. One that pushed cocaine and ketamine across a trusted dealer network, and another that handled the money laundering behind the scenes. By June 2020, police had enough to act. They found Alex Mail leaving a gym in Weston-super-Mare. And that's when everything started to unravel. But what happened next shocked everyone, even the police. Alex Mail should have been locked up, right where the law wanted him. But in late 2020, delays in the court system and slow investigations opened a dangerous gap. That gap gave Alex the perfect chance to escape. He was let out on bail. No ankle monitor. No curfew. No travel limits. And just like that, he vanished. At first, it was small signs. He missed a few check-ins. His phone stopped working. By the time the authorities realized what was happening, Alex was already gone. He had slipped across the English Channel by boat and landed in the Netherlands. From Eindhoven to Marbella, he hid in plain sight, blending in with other criminals on the run. On social media, he showed off a life of luxury, tropical beaches, expensive watches, and private parties. But behind the scenes, he was using fake passports, forged IDs, and criminal networks to stay out of reach. In Spain, police pulled him over for speeding in a Porsche Panamera. He gave them a fake license and a fake passport, and somehow, that got him bail again. Before police could react, he disappeared once more. Next stop. Portugal. Alex settled in a resort town called Vilamoura, sharing an apartment with another one of Britain's most wanted men. When that man was arrested, Alex vanished again. This time, he headed to Turkey. But at Istanbul airport, his luck finally cracked. A biometric scan flagged him. His fake passport didn't match. He was caught, and quickly put on a flight back to Lisbon. British police thought they finally had him. But Alex had one last trick up his sleeve. He didn't fight extradition. Instead, he played the system. Under Portuguese law, a suspect can only be held for 150 days while waiting to be deported. His lawyer, Ricardo Alvarez Arroyo, known in Spain as the Devil's Lawyer, filed appeal after appeal, delaying the process just long enough. When the final day came, the UK tried one last move, asking Portugal to charge him with passport fraud. But the Supreme Court said no. Judge Enrique Luis de Brito Araujo ordered Alex Mail to be released, with only one condition: check in regularly at the local police station. He walked out of court with a grin on his face. Outside, he posed for a photo, yet another trophy for his growing ego. Then he headed to one of Lisbon's finest restaurants to celebrate. Within days, he was gone again. This time, Alex Mail didn't just disappear across borders, he crossed continents. With the help of Russian criminal networks, he was smuggled across the Strait of Gibraltar and into Morocco. By early 2023, Alex wasn't just a wanted man, he had become a name known across Europe and beyond. His photo appeared in police briefings and on international most wanted lists. After slipping out of Portugal's grip, he reappeared in North Africa. He settled quietly in Marrakesh, Morocco, far from the spotlight. He didn't live in luxury anymore, but he didn't give it all up either. He used a fake passport, kept a low profile, and lived with 3 stray kittens he had taken in. For a moment, it looked like he had found another safe place to vanish. But the silence was an illusion. What Alex didn't know was that Moroccan intelligence was already watching. For 2 full weeks, agents tracked his every move. They recorded his routines, followed his steps, and built a case without him even realizing it. The operation was closely coordinated with the UK's National Crime Agency, who continued sharing intel behind the scenes. Then, on January 21, 2023, it was over. There was no chase. No resistance. Just a clean, quiet arrest. Moroccan police moved in swiftly and took him into custody. He was locked up in Tiflit prison, one of the most secure facilities in the country. There, life was nothing like what he was used to. Alex later described the prison as cold, dirty, and harsh, with roaches, barely any hot water, and nothing but concrete to sleep on. But this time, there were no tricks, no loopholes, and no fake IDs. The UK began the formal extradition process. It took several months, but everything was finally approved. In August 2023, Alex Mail was flown back to the UK in handcuffs. British officers escorted him straight to HMP Exeter, a prison far less forgiving than the sunny beaches he once bragged about. After more than 3 years on the run and 4 international arrests, Britain's most slippery fugitive was finally locked up for good. And this time, there was no escape. Back on UK soil, Alex Mail was finally face to face with justice. The trial moved fast. It was held at Exeter Crown Court. The same city where his drug empire had once pumped millions of pounds worth of cocaine and ketamine into the streets. In the courtroom stood a man who once ran drug logistics across half of England. Prosecutors broke down the scale of his empire in exact detail. Between March and June 2020 alone, Alex Mail oversaw the movement of at least 130 kilograms of high-purity cocaine, worth over £4 million on the streets. He also bought ketamine in large amounts, including a single documented purchase of £26,600. At the same time, he was laundering hundreds of thousands in dirty money. One witness described how he once collected £600,000 in just one day. And it wasn't just data backing up the case. The court saw messages, phone records, seized devices, stacks of cash, and even voice notes. It was undeniable. In one conversation, Alex casually discussed buying £37,500 worth of cocaine, even sending a photo of a kilo block. The reply: "Looks banging." It wasn't just about business. It was about confidence, even arrogance. Prosecutors also revealed the full extent of his international escape, fake names, forged passports, and how he managed to stay ahead for so long. In the end, his defense didn't even argue against the drug charges. Alex Mail pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply cocaine and ketamine, as well as money laundering. Firearms charges were dropped but kept on file. The judge called him what he truly was, not just another dealer, but the man who supplied the suppliers. The one pulling the strings from above. Many of his partners were already in prison, serving a combined 56 years. And on December 2, 2023, it was his turn. Alex Mail was sentenced to 18 years behind bars. His empire had collapsed. His freedom was gone. This story isn't just about drugs, power, or the chase. It's a reminder that no matter how far someone runs, the past always catches up. And justice? It never stops chasing. If you found this story gripping, like the video, subscribe for more real crime cases from across the UK, and tell us in the comments. Should fugitives like Alex Mail get even tougher sentences for running?